Most people think of leg weakness as something that suddenly appears, as if the body reaches a certain age and simply stops cooperating. This belief is understandable, because changes in strength often become noticeable only after they have been developing quietly for a long time. In reality, the body does not usually lose strength in abrupt steps. It responds gradually to the signals it receives every day. These signals come from how often we move, how long we stay still, how we nourish ourselves, and how we recover. Over time, the body adapts to those patterns, reinforcing what is used and slowly letting go of what is neglected. Muscles are living tissues that depend on communication with the nervous system. Every time you stand, walk, or shift your weight, nerves send instructions to muscle fibers, and the muscles respond by contracting and relaxing. When this communication happens regularly, muscles remain responsive and capable. When it happens less often, the body begins to conserve energy by reducing support to those areas. This process is not a failure, it is a normal biological adaptation. The body assumes that what is used frequently is important, and what is used less can be minimized. Over months or years, this quiet adjustment can feel like weakness, even though it began as a natural response to daily habits. Circulation plays an equally important role in this gradual process. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients that muscles need to repair and maintain themselves. When movement becomes less frequent, circulation to the legs can decrease slightly. This does not cause immediate problems, but over time it affects how efficiently muscles recover after activity. Small delays in recovery accumulate, making muscles feel heavier or more easily fatigued. Because these changes are subtle, they are often attributed to aging itself rather than to the daily patterns that influence blood flow. 4. Another important factor is the role of balance and coordination. Leg strength is not only about muscle size or force. It is also about timing, stability, and the ability to respond quickly to changes in position. These abilities depend on regular feedback between the feet, the legs, and the brain. When daily movement becomes more limited, this feedback loop weakens slightly. The body becomes more cautious, movements become smaller, and confidence decreases. Over time, this creates the impression that strength has disappeared, when in fact the system has simply adapted to reduced demand. What makes this understanding powerful is that the same gradual process that contributes to weakness can also support strength. Just as the body adapts to less movement, it adapts to consistent, gentle use. Small, repeated actions send a different message to the nervous system and muscles. They signal that support, balance, and endurance are still required. These signals do not need to be intense to be effective. They only need to be consistent. The body responds to patterns, not to isolated efforts, and it continuously reshapes itself around the habits that are practiced day after day. After a night of rest, the body exists in a state of quiet recovery. Muscles have been inactive for hours, joints have remained mostly still, and circulation has slowed to match the reduced demand. When morning arrives, the body does not instantly shift into full readiness. It transitions, and how that transition is handled can influence leg strength and stability throughout the entire day. Gentle movement during this early period plays a role that is far more important than many people realize. When the legs begin to move after prolonged stillness, blood vessels gradually widen, allowing oxygen and nutrients to reach muscles that have been resting. This increase in circulation is not only about energy, it also supports the small repair processes that happen constantly within muscle tissue. Without this early signal, muscles may remain slightly undersupplied for longer, which can make them feel stiff or unresponsive when more demanding movement is required later. Even slow, deliberate motion encourages the body to re-establish efficient blood flow and prepares the legs for balance and coordination. The nervous system also benefits from gentle morning movement. Nerves rely on regular activity to maintain clear communication with muscles. After rest, this communication needs to be reactivated. Simple actions such as standing, shifting weight, or walking at a comfortable pace help nerves recalibrate their timing and sensitivity. This process improves how muscles respond to instructions, especially those involved in stabilizing the hips, knees, and ankles. When this communication is smooth, movements feel more controlled and less effortful, reducing the likelihood of hesitation or imbalance. Joint health is another aspect influenced by early movement. Joints do not receive blood supply in the same way muscles do. Instead, they rely on movement to circulate fluid that nourishes cartilage and reduces friction. After hours of stillness, joints benefit from gentle motion that distributes this fluid evenly. When joints move more freely, muscles can perform their role without unnecessary resistance. Over time, this supports smoother walking patterns and reduces the sensation of stiffness that can discourage activity. There is also a psychological component to how the body responds in the morning. Gentle movement creates a sense of readiness rather than urgency. It allows the body to wake up without stress, which can influence muscle tension and breathing patterns. When movement begins calmly, the body is less likely to compensate with excessive effort or guarded posture. This relaxed state supports more efficient movement and reduces unnecessary strain on the legs. What is often overlooked is that these early signals accumulate. One morning of gentle movement may not feel transformative, but repeated daily, it reinforces a pattern of readiness and responsiveness. The body learns that the legs are needed, that balance matters, and that movement is part of daily life. Over time, this pattern supports strength not by forcing the body to work harder, but by reminding it to stay engaged and adaptable in ways that align with its natural design. Modern life encourages long periods of sitting, often without much thought about how the body responds to extended stillness. Chairs provide comfort and convenience, but when sitting continues without interruption, subtle changes begin to take place in the muscles and nervous system. The body is highly efficient, and it constantly adjusts based on what it is asked to do. When stabilizing muscles in the legs and hips are not regularly engaged, the nervous system gradually reduces the signals sent to them, not as a sign of damage, but as a way to conserve energy. Muscles that support posture and balance rely on frequent activation to maintain their responsiveness. These muscles are designed for low-level, repeated engagement rather than intense effort. When someone remains seated for long stretches, these stabilizers receive fewer opportunities to contract and relax. Over time, the brain begins to treat them as less essential for daily function. This change is slow and often unnoticed, but it can influence how confident and steady a person feels when they do stand or walk. Interrupting sitting with brief moments of standing or movement reactivates these communication pathways. When a person stands, the body must instantly coordinate muscles across the legs, core, and lower back to maintain balance. This coordination depends on fast, clear signals between the brain and muscles. Regularly repeating this process reinforces those pathways, helping the nervous system stay sharp and responsive. Walking also encourages circulation in a way few other activities do. The rhythmic contraction of leg muscles acts as a pump, helping blood return to the heart and improving overall flow. This supports nutrient delivery and waste removal in muscle tissue, which is essential for recovery and endurance. Over time, this process helps legs feel more responsive and less prone to lingering fatigue after activity. When hydration and walking are combined, their effects reinforce each other. Adequate fluids support muscle and joint function, making walking feel smoother and more comfortable. Walking, in turn, improves circulation, helping fluids and nutrients reach tissues more effectively. This creates a supportive cycle that strengthens endurance and stability gradually. Neither habit needs to be extreme to be effective. What matters is consistency and attentiveness to the body's signals. Through steady hydration and regular walking, the body is reminded daily that movement is part of its design and that the systems supporting mobility are still active and adaptable. Rest is often misunderstood as the absence of effort, but biologically it is an active and essential phase of strength maintenance. Muscles do not become stronger while they are being used, they adapt during periods of recovery that follow activity. Every movement creates microscopic stress within muscle fibers, and it is during rest that the body repairs this stress, reinforcing the structure so it can tolerate similar demands in the future. Without sufficient recovery, this repair process is incomplete, and muscles gradually lose resilience rather than gain it. Sleep plays a central role in this process. During deep sleep, the body releases hormones that support tissue repair, regulate inflammation, and restore energy reserves. Blood flow patterns shift, allowing resources to be directed toward recovery rather than immediate performance. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, these processes are disrupted. When rest is valued as part of strength rather than a break from it, the body responds with greater consistency and reliability. Muscles that are allowed to recover properly remain more adaptable, supporting balance, endurance, and confidence in movement as part of an ongoing, responsive system that thrives on care rather than constant demand.